Hi, I'm Bridget. Welcome to my kitchen where I help busy families eat better with wholesome, delicious recipes. Today we're making blueberry oatmeal muffins. They're like a bowl of porridge for people on the go. Made with rolled oats and whole wheat flour, they're wholesome, filling, and just sweet enough for a healthy snack. And they're refined sugar-free, sweetened only with maple syrup and molasses. This recipe comes together quickly, so let's get started. In this recipe, we're combining 3/4 of a cup of milk with half a cup of plain yogurt. It works as well if you only have flavored yogurt. It just adds a little extra flavor to your muffins. We'll just whisk those together, and then I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup. This is pure maple syrup, has more flavor. And then I'm adding 1/4 of a cup of molasses. I'm adding molasses to the same measuring cup right after the maple syrup, and it helps it run out a little faster. We'll stir that together a little bit. And now I'm going to add an egg. I use large eggs. Now I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of oil. I'm using a light olive oil. You could use canola oil or sunflower seed oil or grapeseed oil. 5 tablespoons is 1/4 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon. And finally, I am adding 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. We'll stir this together and set it aside while we combine our dry ingredients. For the dry ingredients, we're combining 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of whole wheat flour. I spoon my flour in so it doesn't get compacted because I don't want to end up with too much flour in my recipe. I'm adding 1½ cups of rolled oats. Don't use instant or they'll make your recipe kind of gluey. Then I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. And then I'm going to whisk these together. Then I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of blueberries. You can use fresh or frozen blueberries. I buy local blueberries in the late summer and freeze them, so I have good wild blueberries to use all winter long. So there we've got our dry ingredients combined, and we're ready to add our wet ingredients. Before I add the wet ingredients, I'm just going to make it well in the dry ingredients. Then I'll give the wet ingredients one more stir and pour it into the dry ingredients. Now I'm going to stir them together just until combined, because we don't want to overmix our muffin batter or our muffins could end up tough. I like using a rubber spatula because it means I can scrape the flour up from the bottom so I'm not left with any floury bits in my batter. Now that we've got our batter ready, we can fill our muffin tins. You can prepare your muffin tins by lining them with paper muffin cups, or you can grease your muffin tins, whatever you prefer. I usually line my muffin pan with paper liners because it makes for easier cleanup. And I'm using a 1/3 cup measure to portion it out. This recipe makes a tidy 12 muffins, so you won't have extra batter that you need to worry about. The less stirring of the batter you do, and the quicker you get the muffin batter portioned out, the less chance there is that your blueberries are going to cause purple streaks in your batter. Before we put our muffins in the oven, we're going to sprinkle them with a little bit of rolled oats just for a pretty touch. Remember, we preheated the oven to 425 degrees, but as soon as the muffins go in the oven, we are going to reduce it to 400. And these muffins will bake for 15 to 20 minutes. We'll check them at about 18 minutes. I know the muffins are ready because the tops spring back a little bit when I touch them. So we're going to let these cool in the pan for about 10 minutes before we remove them to a cooling rack. Yum! This is a family-friendly recipe that's extra healthy and great for afternoon snacks. We'll have more delicious and healthy snack ideas coming up on future shows, so stay tuned.